nga kerteng udangan malang warjri ngadon ya kajing jencar ka borios ngau kata hearing problem bat nga sedang man so toro ba kadon kajing kata khmat ngadi dawai ben mat kasngi henrei kata ka borios ngau jonga kadang no sidang no ben
nga kong kami hapdang lalong no hapdang kajing kendit ke bakrau namar bangila yasa la kajong kini kikun kisa para kena sa selong ba kielit school tengah ngasa senang hakajing kendit ke bangam simpoi perkhat lalong kumbayo yu tenang besanya kong kami ngadap la kajing sosi ke bakra
kong kwa ban thu khandiat phang kajing long jong da kan mau kon jungi mau long khna ba tsingi sia akpor budang red long babiang kajing long aga met ka phat ka jongu te henrei andau la khna la khame layo jing pangen ka kta chwa nongkong ka kta chwa khmat na dien pat ka kta sai skor
how tau senam bolet school mau kesan ngayo jing tep ba uang ba mei ngam yo isu ya ka blackboard bat ngam yo isu wat tangi kidak ru bat ka skor ru ka supa bet ka skor jo ngaru supa bet te kutahi mar tep wot mare no ka selong wot ban le chao yo ban le pensim dawai kamasim jo nga ka so diau ba ka namar bangam simla mo ban yo ban sumalang bat ya khmat bat ya ka skor ka ju kapot tengah hap sumar swai khmat namar ka dai ka ba ka khmat ta la dang idu ya khmat ka mot ngimla su ban yo ai long ka wan ta ka jing perkhat ka jing mot perkhat jo nga dang kham he karta ta ka kelas ru dang kham he ta banga itu ba usai ong ba janga banga sem jing ba mai nga ka jing pule ngan kanno ngan le skol su
adien ulong yang ba ngan nai le skol chu wong ba ngam sola chu te ai to senia au play un play kalat kalti un ai un nyarap ya fi
nga encourage ba yo nga penselur ba yo ba em kon wat du jing kermen blai nyarap ya bet sakmat pule bet mo ya le kat bala kan da feel room lai nga da feel room lai
ke kumta sim la du jing kermen mulai ulala ya kai ke bau semu ke bau kuwa ke sim ujung
nadu mencoba wangadang red akpor wangadang late class 8 nya ngadon jing terang wangan poli engineering te hadian to andang ala dep class 10 ngal late class 12 science bat andang ala dep class 12 science ala yo ban late ban poli ya ka engineering hasatia bama university kata deka electrical and electronics engineering te andang ala dep ban pendep ya bachelor nga bangan yo i kam ke bapiang hakum ki power industry
te unget yang ko ngu hadu kat kini kisingi kibamenta ngai ba ka jingdan kat ketika diang ketika man jong belai kaya kedop i yo kon jonga yo dakan ma hadu menta ba nadu bang red utrang balai ya ke engineering te hadu menta hiru ulayo ban pendap te
kas ngau ngu shibon ya ka jing rap jongka sarkar Meghalaya kata ka state resource center civil hospital Shillong hadu sau sanam kenti ngayo ya ka scholarship nadu bang sedang balej arajar kat sau hadu arajar kat pra bangadal dep
sakawai nga ai kublai na kaliang ka departemen jongka health na po civil bakim sim ino yang i seran yang i la ka jing rap ka jongki na koi ka por ula akan ban continue ya ka jing pulai ka jong ngai skamba ublai on am ino ya pi baro be trai stop kublai sibon.
It is indeed an honor to witness our friends with disabilities in the state of Meghalaya attaining greater heights, overcoming all odds, and breaking barriers in education, employment generation, and other fields. I, on behalf of Government of Meghalaya, would like to express my sincerest gratitude to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, for giving Meghalaya and the rest of India the Rights for Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, which is a comprehensive law that not only fulfills India's obligation to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, but realizes a milestone in providing equal opportunities to persons with disabilities. These past couple of months have been hard for the nation, for our state, and for our friends with disabilities. The COVID-19 pandemic is partial to none, and its ill effects are seen in our society. However, in the midst of the pandemic, the Social Welfare Department, through the Office of the Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities and the State Resource Center on Disability Affairs, have been providing essential commodities, various aid, and disability rehabilitation services to our friends with disabilities in all the 11 districts of the state. The Unique Disability ID, UDID project, has been implemented in our state in December 2017, as also in other states in our country, to uniquely identify persons with disabilities, to enable them to avail state and central schemes, like the Chief Minister's Social Assistance Scheme, the 4% reservation of jobs for persons with disabilities, the meritorious scholarship of the State Resource Center on Disability Affairs, free aids and appliances, the National E-Scholarship, vocational training, and other benefits and entitlements. It is in this regard that I invite my friends with disabilities to visit our district civil hospitals, district social welfare offices, district resource centers on disability affairs, and district UDID offices. Meet our staff and get your individual unique disability ID so that these opportunities provided to persons with disabilities can be availed. Thank you, Kublai, Matela, and Jai Hind.
My name is Fairchenchi Amara. I am from Dadingri, West Garo Hills, Meghalaya.
Angni bimengko Jaspel e sangma mga anga Dadingri songonyo nga aro anga prior chianchi e marakni phagapa angan onga angni mandeko tokje e marak mga aro chingo derang sakni donga awan skangapa prior chianchi aro uni nogapa saksa donga anga antangde primary education no chongmadan Dadingri government LP school skigipani kamko kaenga nike songna jatna dangdeke onpainga
anga frayo chianchini magapa onge jensalo biko tsinga nachal naja ne masiaha unon tsinga anga magapa onge namen dukonga
frayo chianchini neknekanirang uni nachalni knanio neknekanirang ko manna maina dingtang doktorangchi aro hospitalangchi tsinga namatna gita joton kaha sannaha aniba namatna gita manjok uamangni aganani kita bini knani komiani ara nachone dram chatani agana aro ndikin balsini dalani kriwa bari krikpagen nimang bisong doktorang agana bia balsi chigitamba chibri dakarang uni abachengba chonmatengode namen kena cem ni bawa nuni abaceng ba.
When I'm about 11 years old, my hearing became lesser day by day. My parents treated me in different hospitals, but it remains same till now.
Bini janggi tanganyo mai dake choli phagen nerang chanchia porayan irango zaman chaken nerang ba chanchia aron dake noktang ba ku dak phae janggi tango mai dake onggen werang ko ba
aro wan dake bina hearing aid rangko jakal china gita doktorang advice ka aro bisongni prescribe kita chinga breya hearing aid rangko bre yona Andiba biya tangan jakalna neknekani gaman biya jakalna kusyongja ukude jakalja.
I have faced many difficulties in my studies due to my disabilities. As I could not hear lectures, it is very hard for me to understand my lessons, but I prayed and tried to concentrate on my studies. Sometimes I ask my teachers and friends to help me understand the lesson, and they help me in whatever ways they can understand the lesson.
ken dengtang chanchianirang neknekanirang anga magapa onge angona sokpa andiba bini porayaniko tontong gija porai china gita anga magaponge uko didia
Nakyong ba biya bini porayanirang joton kai poraya neknekanirang ko matna ba aro bangau ni repengrang ni dakchakanirang ko biya matna neke repengrang ni dakchakani chi biya metric ko ba gani gapa gadang pas kana gata matna wanaken 12 class ni porika ko ba biya skang gapa gadang pas kana gata matna aro nake BA ko ba nam gapa gadang rangon MA ona kengkeng nam gapa gadang rango biya nam gapa percentage rango pas kana gata matna
angni bimuko sanjugaji momen menga anga chianchiko angi MA takmutongoni masya since 2017 oni anga because kangpa chingni entrance exam semena HOD chi interview na riang mutungo nekchenga ha aro ununin kusikona deke menade chingan apasan yen rongkono nok phara rai donga bia angni dongpa uni de ontisha de chelbata temnade ununi masigrike chinga apsan bas rangko singrong ha aro ununin chinga namgpa rpeng ona bacheng ha.
I have studied at Drama College from class 11 till graduation, and I have taken a major subject in Garo, and I got highest mark in whole Meghalaya. I continue to study in Nehutura for my master's degree and completed in the year 2019, and I'm one of the recipients of gold medalists. I never give up on my studies, and my parents and friends helped me to reach where I am now.
Prior change biya antangna neknekani ko matnang ong ba biya bachna dakchak rakpa wa aro namgpa mande wa aro khasin gpa mande wa biya antang neknekani ko matnang ba chingna dakchak na ba biya ja aro bini antangni matna gata de biya chingna dakchakna khusyong biya
anga prayo chianchini magaponge uko uni porayanirango chusokapong watna gata anga uko saksan watkalja wa jechiria anga choljokani somerango de bin baksari paimna anga biko dakchaka aron daken anga angni belamma tepat biko dakchaka angni anga biko watkalja aro bin baksa apsan onge pangnan biko bini chusoka ona anga dalla
anga frayo chenchi emarakni nogba wa anga angya bitangni nakpaga dawna sukanina anga namen kusyonga maina uara natsilni kna gijanya se wabang anik nikanirangko matna chim anga bianak ba gadawna sukin nya khadong jachim diba isol una namgpa ya gadawna sukna gita namgpa cholko wotnaha
jensalo wanda kapa chusokanirangko onaha unon anga namen kusyonga maina uni janggi tanganio wa sugapa gadangrango janggi tangpana magno kone angni khadonganirang donga uni gemen prayo chianchini chusokanina angni gisiko namen kusyong anirang donga.
Nek kanirang mamung salwa mandi ko ona gadango dongatna manja mandini tekela usa pangcakan gebako cenga bina agana ndaken cengni agana ni kita biaba joton ka tekela ha aro bini porai nirango je gadango na bia porai na muksongwa warango chisokna gata dao manpa yarang pelakan isol ni kasani ci chisokna gata manha yarang na isol ko matela.
I thank UDID, Social Welfare Department and State Resource Center on Disability Affairs, Civil Hospital Shillong for helping me to achieve goals in my life.
Nongkong ucap cimo kini gelat wo ikuble ye piwaro ki perlok ki bapai ya kini ki video cepang ke unique disability ID. Kawato ne benta ki bru ki WM ye jingduna hedukotmet. Lani ki person with disabilities ki WM ha Meghalaya but hari India hi baro kawi. Ka sarkar Meghalaya langba ka office yang ka Commissioner for Person with Disabilities Chiruk waka State Resource Center on Disability Affairs, Civil Hospital Shillong, kentu go yaki PWDs, wan chkmat yo penthame yaki Disability Certificate, kiwarim ki yongki chaka UDID, haki Civil Hospital, lani haki Office yongki yongka District Social Welfare Officers, kiwa hawaro ki khatwitli ki district. Kentu ile ya kitu ki wampu ya ke disability certificate yo wan chaki civil hospital yo ki jing sumar ki wabyang bat kam chu le yo pi ya ki UDID card ki yong pi lamba ke UDID ka sarkar kwa ko timit karpang ya ki PWDs yo ya ki jing yarap lamba ki scheme ki waper kamwade yo de batai hagani ki video ka sarkar Meghalaya kwa ko uyekre lang wa ki wahayung hasem ki be ki pa lani ki wapai yakini ki PWDs chiruk yo yu poi cha ka thong kani to ka chikwa na leng yang sarkar ta do ini hi ku ble chi pon phi.
Hi everyone, my name is Healingson Simle. I am a husband and a father. My wife is also deaf and we've been married for 8 years. I have 2 children and they are beautiful boys. The elder one is 6 years old and the younger one is 3 years old. I work at Civil Hospital at State Resource Center.
My name is Moraya Makado. I'm the Senior Accountant in the Office of the State Resource Center on Disability Affairs here in Civil Hospital Shillong. I've known Gigi since last 2 years, since he joined here and be part of this team and this family in this office since January 2019. He works diligently and proactively. When any task is assigned to him, he does it, he completes it, that is up to his potential. He creates a wonderful environment in this office. He has a very friendly gesture, he has a positive approach towards people who would come to this office, who would seek help. We don't know how to communicate with and interact with such people who are belonging from the disability category, such as hearing problems. He would always instruct them and guide them, and He creates a very pleasant and friendly environment in this office.
My name is Jermika Prabhat. I am an audiologist and speech language pathologist at Civil Hospital Shillong. I have been working with the hearing impaired population for more than 10 years. Healing Son Aimle. He has been here with us for more than 2 years. Recently we had a patient who had a skin problem, but the doctor could not explain to them how to use the medications, so they needed a sign language interpreter. So that way Gigi or some of my colleagues would go and help them. He has been helping them to not only for one patient, many patients with disability also, to get their certificates and other things done.
Gigi, he's a kind-hearted and well-mannered person. He loves to build a cordial relationship around his people, around his friends and families. That makes him so special.
When I was born, I was normal. I could hear very well. I could even cry. Up to the age of 3 years, I was quite normal. When I reached the age of 4 years, I suddenly felt sick. I had high fever and became very thin. I couldn't walk, and I had to rely on my parents to physically support me. Carrying me piggyback, they took me to various doctors and hospitals in the state, but they could not help me. I became very sad. My family members became very sad. I could hear and could talk till I was 4 years of age, but then, due to my sickness, I became deaf. Earlier, I was working in Ferrando in an ear mold lab. It was then that I started having friends, girlfriends, in fact, normal girlfriends. Many of them could not understand me. It was difficult for us to communicate with each other. I understood nothing of what they wanted to convey, and they, in turn, could not understand me. Though I dated them, the relationships never lasted long. We would always break up. They would always make fun of me and joke about me. I was worried. I wondered, how can I spend my life with this person when we can't even understand each other? That was when I fell in love with my wife. She's also deaf, and I found that I could communicate with her easily, and we got married.
Well, I know Gigi's wife since she was a student at Bethany Society where I was working earlier, and they have been, very supportive of each other. And since I know her from that days, I think she has been very supportive of him, and also she has been taking good care of his kids.
When my wife was pregnant, everyone was worried. They wondered whether the baby would be normal or would be disabled, like us. Nonetheless, I trusted God. I wasn't worried whether my child would be disabled. Even if he or she was deaf, I would still be able to teach him or her in sign language. I was never worried. Then, when my first boy was born, I was so happy. He was normal. He was so beautiful. He was so cute. He was so tiny. I was happy that he was normal. I taught him sign language from a very young age so that I could motivate him.
Since Healing Son and his wife are both hearing impaired, so I think and they have normal children, so the difficulty would be basically trying to communicate with their child. But I have seen that his children have already learned how to communicate with with sign languages, and I think gesturally they're doing very well. And I think so far as we've seen, I think their children know them better than and can communicate better than us.
My parents were very worried. They asked, how will his life be with a deaf wife? How will he earn? Who will cook for him? Who will cook for his children? But then I always had this faith that I was independent, that I was equal to others. I can do what others can. I can support my family. I had this faith in myself. I would often call my principal, looking for jobs. I worked wherever I could find a job, at Ferrando, at some village, anywhere. I worked hard for my family. The director at Ferrando knows how hardworking I am. I teach sign language whenever I get the free time. I go to the villages. I have been all over the Northeast teaching sign language. Teachers in many schools know me now. I have become a familiar sight. And I do all of this just to support my family. And I really thank God for all the help that He's given me. I thank God for the job that He's provided to me, so I, in turn, can provide for my family. There are many deaf people who don't have the disability certificate to prove that they are disabled. So I went and registered myself for the disability certificate. This will help people who are disabled to prove their identity. This is an identity card. The latest version is called the UDID.
UDID certificate gives an opportunity to all persons with disabilities to avail all benefits being provided by the government. Ya nambegapa cholko gamat panabe.
I also appeal to all the persons with disabilities who have not yet received their disability certificates can also visit these civil hospitals for necessary medical assessment and receive their UDID disability certificates and cards.
Hi, Duff.
Hello, is this my normal talking voice? Okay. I've known Bettina since 2014 when I joined my master's in Nehu.
I am Bettina Lingdo and here is my friend Duffy. I've known her since 2014. We studied together in Nehu for the masters in English. Currently, I'm a freelance writer, but then I'm hoping that in a few days from now, I'll be getting to do my PhD.
So the story of Bettina starts in about 93, 94, when she was kind of abandoned, I think, by her family.
It started when I was at 3 years and a half. So I had actually joined school at the age of 3 in my own village, LP school. So after half a year of attending school, my eyes started deteriorating. It started off like this, that at the moment I became blind and the entire family of mine started to be like, misunderstanding that this lady, this girl is becoming blind now, we can't treat her, so she'll have to depend on us for her entire life. And then they don't even think that of looking for a special education and all that. So thanks to Miss Lin, she's a teacher ide hikai banapo LP school hasumerhi telong. It is through her that I got an opportunity to come to Shillong Bethany Society to start my studies at the age of 5 years old in 1993.
When Bethany Society started Jyotish Road School and the hostel, her grandfather brought her here, and I think she was about maybe 6 or 7 years old, and precocious. She was, gentle. She was, always very friendly, and obviously very bright. And then when Bertina finished class 10, I think one of the great traits that she has is she always wants to be independent, you know, and not to be dependent. And that was our aim also, that as soon as they finished class 10, we wanted to mainstream them, and that's why we started the inclusive school. So we put her in St. Mary's College, and together with another person, and she stayed in the hostel run by Loreto Convent. And she finished the class 10, class 12 there, and did very well because she's, I think, besides being bright and so on, she's an extremely hard worker, very focused on what she did, etc.
Since I am the first visually impaired to do my master's in Nehu on a regular university, I would say that it's difficult for any person to take admission or to do his further studies without a financial support. Honestly speaking, it was difficult for me to take admission in Nehu because I am the first visually impaired in Meghalaya to to take admission in Nehu for a master in English. And of course I have financial problem also, since honestly speaking I was not supported by my own family members right from my nursery till my masters. It's a blessing that when I've come in touch with the State Resource Center Civil Hospital Shillong. During my postgraduate, I also received a Mediterranean scholarship. So the scholarship which I had received during my post-graduation, during my master's in English, it was of huge help to me. It was of huge support to me.
And the other thing that she was able to do, and I think that's very important, she was able to, form very good relationships and partnerships with other people, and people who were sighted, who then supported her, and she formed very good relationships. So that made her more independent. So she wouldn't come and say, I need to go there, can you help me, etc. and all that. She'll say, no, my friend is coming and picking me up.
Bertina is strong. She's a normal, regular person just like all of us.
But I also don't want to portray her as an angel. So she was like any other child, get into trouble, this, etc., and all that, and but a quick learner.
I think it was the first day of class itself when I noticed that we had a slightly different person in the classroom. The reason I realized something was different in the classroom was when I heard some noise, and that was when I realized that she was using braille. You were using your stylus.
Yes, slate and stylus.
Yes, which was making a lot of noise, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes. And that was when we approached you and we talked, and we've been friends since then, isn't it?
Yes. I worked in Ajmal Foundation, Hojai, Assam as an English trainer. But after the pandemic came, I returned back to Shillong, and currently I am a freelance writer. Also, I have almost 4 years experience in the field of teaching, and the field which I am interested is, of course, teaching, and of course I can also write, as I've mentioned that I'm a freelance writer.
Her determination and her power of not being bothered by all the problems of life, but to be fixed on her goal and to always go after it.
My friend Duffy, she's been a very good friend of mine since 2014. So she's been the one that I've been very close to her. I mean, I can really say that she's the most trusted friend of mine.
She doesn't talk about it, that every time she'd come over here, she'd come and give a donation. He said, you've supported me, and one of the few ones, there are a few others who said that you all have supported, can this help somebody in the hostel? You know, from the little that I get, I want to donate. Of course, I think we cannot forget the support that she got from the State Resource Center, you know, to complete both her graduation and her master's. And I think by doing well, she paid back the compliment that the scheme is good, you know, that it works, and people need this kind of affirmative action. So that they can be equity. I think that's very, very important.
I encouraged everyone to please get their UDID card. It's for your benefits.
You know, being blind doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, and being blind doesn't mean that you don't have vision.
Nakarpa depi banwan chakman bantin thamai yalaki disability certificate ki barim jongpi sngob ha wat pen leno e ya kaniga kabuk siar khule shibut